what's up guys, and welcome back to the channel. And unfortunate news, I would say breaking news, but by the time this video is out it's going to be about 6 hours old. But Justin Gaethje is no longer fighting Dan Hooker. I should say Dan Hooker is out of his fight with Justin Gaethje. I don't know why I worded it like that, but Dan Hooker's out. He's got a broken hand, he's injured, and he's not taking the fight. He's not fighting at UFC 313 next weekend. I got this information about, by the time I post this video, probably about 16 hours ago, I would say. So about 11 a.m. Australia time, during the middle of the day. I then, talked around, asked some questions, found out that it was a broken hand, which is very unfortunate. But that leaves Justin Gaethje without an opponent. That leaves us without definitely the second best fight on that 313 card, and the only thing really apart from the main event that's holding that together as a great pay-per-view, because without that we're looking at a fucking Jalen Turner co-main event in Big 2025, which would be rough work. But I'm going to be talking about all, and I mean all of the potential matchups, probably not all of them, I'll probably miss a few, but all of the matchups that I think could have some chance of happening, their varying capabilities. I'll run down the rankings in order, so this is not going to be in order of like what's most likely to happen or what I want to happen the most. This is just going to be like going through the rankings, and then I got one more guy at the end, which you guys will probably know who that is. But regardless, let's get started. And first, let's just take a look at the rankings. And let's just discuss the possibility of each of these fighters taking the fight. Like, let's just completely rule them out or not. So obviously, it ain't gonna he's not fighting Islam. We know that. He ain't fighting Arman. I'll talk about Arman. I don't think Arman's taking the fight, but I've got him here as a mention just because he's not booked. Oliveira just makes no fucking sense. Why the fuck would he fight Oliveira? Obviously, Justin Gaethje cannot fight himself, although that would be incredibly entertaining. I don't think it's fucking Poirier. Like, that would be pretty sick as like a retirement fight trilogy, but like I think they're getting Poirier a fight on a full camp. They want to build it up as his retirement fight. Poirier is not retiring next weekend. Like, I know you'd be like, but if he takes it, this is not going to happen. So, I don't think it's Poirier. I don't think it's Charles. It's not Holloway. Why the fuck would they do that? Dan Hooker obviously just pulled out. Chandler's fighting Pimlet, so it's not either of those two. Gamrot and fucking Beneil Dariush. I'll talk about them both. They're kind of dead. Moicano and Fiziev are both two guys that have put their names out there, I believe. Moicano's saying he's ready to go. Fiziev's calling for a rematch. So those two are both calling for it. Paddy, as I said, booked. Jalen Turner's on this card. Would be a fucking dismal replacement if he fought Gaethje. Grant Dawson, I'm just not even including him. And then BSD is rumoured to be fighting Alvarez. So that's everyone ranked at lightweight. Now let's just talk about the individual sort of matchups. And who is the most likely to take it. So first of all, we got Arman. Let's discuss Arman, because in my opinion, Arman would actually be the ideal matchup. Rankings-wise, title contention, stakes-wise, this would be the fight. Right, like if Arman wins this, undoubtedly, you give him the title shot. Dana's said he needs to put in work to get the title shot. Dana has said that he needs to win another fight before he can fight for the belt. And if he beats Justin Gaethje this weekend and saved an event, that would definitely put him in the good graces, or next weekend, sorry. But if he takes that fight and saves the card, because realistically, if we don't get an opponent for Gaethje and we end up with no replacement and just what's already on there, but minus that fight, that card is rough. Great main event, absolutely nothing else to fucking speak of. So that would be dismal if we don't get a replacement for Gaethje. But if Arman can save the card, he would definitely be in line for a title shot with a win. Definitely be first in line. Who's next though? Like, next up, as I said, it's not going to be Poirier. It's not going to be any of these guys, I don't think. So I would say the next option is a Beneil Dariush or a Gamrot. Gamrot's the first guy I'll discuss. He is coming off a close win, or so a close loss to Dan Hooker, which many people thought he won. So yeah, but again, are people getting hyped for fucking Gamrot versus Justin Gaethje? Like, the whole point of it was like 5 rounds, badass, co-main event, fight of the year contender. Listen, kid, this is a badass fight. I don't think you could... Dana's going to go on there running out there and be like, guys, got some breaking news. Dan Hooker out of the fight. He's broken his hand. And the replacement stepping in. This is badass fight. We got Mateusz Gamrot. Like, they're just not going to fucking do... Even if that's the only guy, genuinely, I think they would just cancel the fucking fight altogether. Then put Gamrot in there. Maybe he does, though. Because Gamrot seems like a guy who can just step up and fight. Probably doesn't cut too much weight. But with Arman, the weight's going to be an issue, and I don't even know if he's recovered from that quote-unquote injury that so-called pulled him out of that fight, even though I think it was just he was going to miss weight, and he didn't want to embarrass himself. So, next up, Beneil. We're not giving Beneil a fucking fight with Justin Gaethje coming off 2 losses, bro. That's just not happening, but, I mean, it's an option. I think Beneil said he doesn't want to fight until, like, after April, because he said he was going to, after the Moicano fight got cancelled, he wanted to take some time, you know, have a holiday with his family, which I can respect. Who else we got? Moicano's another guy. Moicano's put his name in the hat. Moicano's offered his services. This would be cool, I guess. But again, it's like Moicano coming off a loss to Islam. It would be pretty fucking dire circumstance, which to be fair it is, because again, the big names, like the guys who you'd want in there, like an Oliveira or a Poirier or a Holloway or a Chandler, those are the big names at lightweight. Like, that's the group, and none of them are fucking available. So, Gamrot would be a very dismal option. Dariush would be a dismal option. Moicano would be less dismal, because at least Moicano's got hype, but I still don't think it would be that good. Again, talking about who would I pick, if Arman showed up healthy and not in bad shape or not weight drained or not injured, I'd pick him to obviously beat Gaethje comfortably. I would pick Gaethje to beat either Gamrot or Dariush. Again, can I trust him? No. To not be dumb or just to not have a chin? No. But I don't think that Dariush or Gamrot would have the threat on the feet to catch him and put him away, even if he did have a weak chin. Moicano's the same. I just don't think Moicano stylistically. Maybe he could take him down, though. That is a thing of Gaethje's jiu-jitsu is dismal, so if Moicano got the takedown, that would actually be interesting. It is no longer like that. No one's going to really... There's only one guy, in my opinion, that can replace the Dan Hooker level of like hype in terms of how sick the fight's going to be. Because I think everyone would agree, like, Arman is a better fighter than Dan Hooker and a more relevant title stakes fighter than Dan Hooker. But I think people would be more excited for a Dan Hooker fight than an Arman fight. Just stylistically. That's the whole appeal of this, is just these two are going to kill each other. And we don't get that anymore. So, Moicano, he's out of the options. Fiziev is another option to discuss, I guess. Rafael Fiziev, he's put his name out there calling for a rematch. Again, he lost the first fight and he's lost his next fight since then and hasn't won a fight since. So difficult to market, yes. Difficult to justify, yes. But at this point, with how dire these circumstances are, with how desperately we need a co-main event for this card, Fiziev as a replacement would actually be interesting, and I would actually consider picking a Rafael Fiziev in a rematch. 5 rounds, I'd go Gaethje. 3, I would pick Fiziev probably, but I don't know how good he's going to look coming back. Next up, though, obviously, Paddy's booked. Turner's on this card. Let me think. I'm trying to, okay, the other options, I guess, if you're being really fucking just absolutely dismal, is you get a Jalen Turner or a Bobby Green, one of those established names to take the fight. Both of them would probably die. To be fair, Jalen Turner could win, but I don't think he would. Or the other option, if you're going to go with a fighting nerd who isn't the other guy I'm going to talk about, would be getting Mauricio Rufy to fight. I just don't think you can justify that. Like, he's got hype, but he's not the same level of hype as a Jean Silva, where you could be like, oh, but look, he just won, and he's coming off a sick KO, and he just fought, and he's moving up a weight class. Like, no. He's a guy who's had 2 fights in the UFC against Jamie Mullarkey and James Lontop. Now, even if you think he would have a better stylistic chance to beat Gaethje, maybe you think that, maybe you don't, I don't know. I think it would be undeniable that it's just difficult to market Rufy in a pay-per-view co-main event at this point in his career. If he beats a Bobby Green, he's in line for not a top 5 guy, but it would be hype-worthy if he got a top 5 fight coming off a Bobby Green KO. But yeah, him, Turner, any of the other lightweights that are fighting on this card, we got a few options. Otherwise, Jean Silva, there's only one man for the job, and you know who it is. It's Jean Silva. Jean Silva. This dude is the option. Will this happen? Most likely not, because why the fuck would Gaethje look at this dude and be like, yeah, this dude just got a KO against an unranked featherweight. He's got hype. He has a chance to KO me. He doesn't have a ranking in either division, and he's not that known by the casuals. Yeah, let me fight that guy. I just don't think he would. I think if the UFC I have a worry that we're not going to get a replacement for Justin Gaethje. Now, maybe this age is like milk, and by the time I've posted this video, there's already a replacement announced, because I'm pre-recording this video so I can go to bed, so I can wake up in time for work tomorrow. But if I record this video and wake up and see a replacement of fucking Gaethje versus Beneil Dariush, then okay, cool, I guess. But I think Gaethje's more likely to just be like, nah, let me just sit and either fight Poirier in a trilogy or just rebook the Dan Hooker fight for like 2 months' time, which they might do, and they might either try and find something else to co-main event the card, which I'll talk about a few options, or they just give up on the fucking card completely. But Jean Silva is another option. This would be hype, and I put up a poll. You can check it out on my community post. Go vote on this poll right now. It's sitting at about 53% Justin Gaethje, 47% Jean Silva at the time of recording. Sorry, bro. Apart from Arman, I don't think you're going to fucking find, and maybe Fiziev, I don't think you're going to find any realistic option. Also, I'm seeing people say Topuria step in. Bruh, Topuria is not stepping in on fucking 10 days notice, upper weight class, when he's just vacated his belt and risked everything. He's not doing that. So I'm not even including him as an option. But if that happens, fucking, that'd be amazing. I'd pick Topuria to win. But apart from that option, and apart from any of these other unrealistic options that just we doubt happen, like a Poirier who would beat him, probably. But like, if you're looking at all these other guys, like, would a Mateusz Gamrot or Beneil Dariush poll be closer than 53 Gaethje, 47 to the opponent? Like, I don't think anyone else, maybe Moicano just because of the grappling threat, or maybe I don't know, who else did I fucking make? Like a Fiziev, if they make it 3 rounds. Maybe that's the opponent will be like, oh, I want a 3-rounder because I'm taking it on short notice. But like, I think Jean Silva is the best option competitive-wise that's also realistic. Because I don't think Arman's taking it. I did include him, but I doubt he gets that fight. I doubt he'll take that fight. It would be incredible. That's my first option if I could wave the magic wand. But yeah, 53% Gaethje, 47% are picking, and not me included, I think Jean Silva could actually win. 47% of people are convinced that an unranked fighter with 4 wins in the UFC and no wins over currently ranked fighters could get a win over Justin Gaethje. Like, that proves how much hype Jean Silva has, and that no one would complain if that got booked. Like, there'd probably be a few tards that would just say, oh, it's privileged, all these fighting nerds guys are getting privileged, oh, they're all overrated, right? Not naming any names. Kenny Okoye. But anyway, fucking bedtime MMA. No, he doesn't have the same energy towards Jean Silva as he does with CP. Too much CP hatred coming from some of these guys. I swear to God, bro. You got to get on board. But the other option is, I don't know, fucking send Gaethje up to welterweight. I guess. Like, who could he fight? Fucking do Gaethje vs Wonderboy or some shit like that. I don't know. That'd be fun. Like, send Gaethje up to welterweight or do some random ass shit. Like, if Gaethje's staying on the card, that's another option. Jean Silva would be cool. But my other 2 options are, if we need a completely brand new co-main, and I doubt this happens, and good luck making this fight, these 2 would be justifiable. Would be a Colby Covington Ian Gary fight. I think even though they're both coming off a loss, Colby coming off multiple losses, I think it's justifiable hype-wise. There'd be beef. They're big enough names to co-main event. It wouldn't be quite as hype as Gaethje Hooker, but it'd do. Like, it would be okay. The other option, slightly less hype, but I'd say a bit more relevant contender-wise, with Joaquin Buckley involved, would be a Buckley versus an Usman fight. Would also be cool. Buckley versus Gary, that'd also be cool, because we know realistically, Usman and Colby are fucking scared at this point in their career because they know they're washed, and they don't want to get fed to these young up-and-comers and lose their spots and end their careers on 5-fight losing streaks, right? They're petrified of that happening. So they probably wouldn't take either of those fights, but if you want to just rebook a young up-and-comers fight, or not even that young, but just like a contenders fight at welterweight, Buckley, Gary, it's a weak co-main, but again, if it's dismal circumstances and they can't find... Like, if you give me the choice between Gaethje versus Beneil Dariush and Ian Gary versus Joaquin Buckley, I'm taking Buck versus Cuck as the co-main event all day. The final option is just let Aspinall kill a blob. That's the or you can take some fights from other cards. We can just yoink some fucking 3-14 fights and just find replacements for them. Like, let's get CP on the card against Jeff Neal. You know, let's speed run Pitbull, make him fight even earlier, and just put those 3-14 fights at a catch weight or something. Or this is never going to happen because Pimblett needs about 9 months to lose weight. But Paddy versus Chandler at 170, just don't make him cut weight. Just do Paddy Chandler 170, push Gaethje back to the Miami co-main instead. That ain't going to happen. But again, these are just dire, desperate, exploring all options, circumstances. I'm genuinely trying to think, what else could fucking co-main event this that's, like, acceptable? Like, I'm not really seeing any flyweight fights here that would be, like, hype. O'Malley Yarn, that ain't fucking happening on short notice. O'Malley's not going to take a short notice fight in his life. A Figueiredo, Sandhagen, I guess, pushed that forward. But again, this is not, like, most of these foreign fighters ain't going to be able to take the fight on 10 days notice. You know, call Volk in there. Song Yadong just fought, didn't take too much damage. You could try and get him on there, maybe, but you're not co-main eventing. What am I even talking about? You're not co-main eventing Song Yadong, bro, on a pay-per-view. Like a Jose Aldo fight would be cool. You know, get Cejudo back in there with no eyesight against Aldo. You know, get his ass whooped. That'd be fun. I'm just not backing Holloway or any of these guys to fight on short notice, and especially Holloway wouldn't fight Gaethje. That'd make no sense. I don't know, Ortega versus someone. I'm looking at just names in the divisions. Get Aljo on there. He's been chatting shit to Lopez, who's 10-8'd in multiple. I love how Lopez is 10-8'ing Aljo in his second language. You know, lightweight. Who else is there? We just talked about lightweight. There's no options for Gaethje, period, let alone completely different fight options. But yeah, Usman, Buckley, Gary, Colby. These are the the highest ranked welterweight guys who aren't booked right now. That'd be cool, I guess. You could get an MVP on there again, like an MVP Colby fight, co-main event. Wouldn't complain. An MVP versus Buckley fight, wouldn't complain. It'll be weird. Any of these fights that just have some level of hype. You know, a Malv ain't fucking fighting on short notice. Strickland's got a broken nose. Hamzat's not fighting. Like, I'm just looking through the entire, like, Cannonier took a bit of damage. He's out for a little bit from what Paulo Costa's saying. Fucking get Paulo Costa in there. I don't know. Heard he's fighting Rainier Dorita. Not Dorita, sorry. Heard he's fighting Shara Magomedov. Dorita's fighting Bo Nickel. There you go. A little bit of news for you guys in today's video. Was told that about half an hour before the Gaethje Hooker fight. He's like, oh, I got some... My source is like, oh, I've got some news for you. I was like, oh, sick. And then 30 minutes later, he's like, you want to be sad? I was like, not really, but go ahead. He's like, oh, Hooker's out. I was like, fuck's sake. But yeah, there you go. Bo Nickel versus RDR and Shara versus Costa. Keep it in the comments. So don't take that anywhere else. But what else? Fucking... There's nothing really else. Like, light heavyweight division, Yuri. Is the Yuri fighting? Yuri versus who? Khalil? Yuri versus Khalil Roundtree, to be fair, would be sick, but I doubt they get. Yuri needs to fucking stop hibernating and get in the cage. I don't know. Yuri versus Khalil, I just thought of that on the spot as I'm looking through the rankings. That would actually be kind of sick. Who else is there, options-wise? Fucking Johnny Walker. No, sipping Johnny Walker in the war room, chilling, fucking, with Tristan Tate. I don't know. What else? Heavyweight. As I said, let Aspinall kill a blob. Any heavyweight fight, because they won't have to cut weight. Like a Volkov-Garn trilogy. Sorry. A Volkov-Almeida and Almeida-Garn. But it seems like they're trying to get Garn on 315. But desperate times call for desperate measures. Again, let Aspinall kill it. You know, this is my replacement opponent. Alright, this is my replacement option. So no Gaethje Hooker, completely cancel that fight. Run off 3 Aspinall fights, like back to back to back on the card. No, not back to back, to do some KSI type shit, you know, in the thick of it type shit. And what you can do is, okay, this is my options. So first fight, we do Tom Aspinall versus Derek Lewis as the early prelim headliner. We then do Tom Aspinall versus Marcin Tybura rematch as the prelim headliner, and then we do Tom Aspinall versus Geltel Almeida as the co-main event. So Aspinall can fight 3 times on the card. He'll have a combined 4 minutes 46 seconds of fight time, and that will save the card. So that's what we can do. You ain't saving a card with women. But that's it. Like, genuinely, there are fucking little options that I can think of. If it's not a Gaethje replacement fight, it's washed. Like, I genuinely cannot think of anything. Again, let me know in the comments. If Gaethje Hooker's off the board completely, there's no replacement for Gaethje, what would be your ideal co-main? I'll put up a poll maybe. I'll say either Colby versus Ian. I'll say Usman versus Buckley. I'll say Yuri versus Khalil Roundtree. Or I will say other, and you guys let me know. And that's if Gaethje Hooker is completely off, which would be dismal. Anyway, like, subscribe, follow my Instagram, Twitter, Left Lane MMA. If you DM me, I might give you fight news if I'm in the mood. build a relationship with me over Instagram, and I'm encouraging people to message me. But yeah, if you guys want more fight news that I can't drop in the videos, let me know. I'll give it to you over on IG if you're trustworthy enough. If I see you in my streams enough, I'll give you fight news. Anyway, that'll do it. Goodbye. Peace out. Subscribe.